Oh, glory to God in this moment, who is the great communicator. So the talk today is about two things: life visioning process and a deep welcome to the future. As I ask, how long have we joined as one heart? I will get back to that a little bit later. The technology of the life visioning process carries this point of view. It is a powerful declaration, an affirmation, and a life intention. And it says, I am willing, I am ready, I am available to more good than I've ever experienced, realized, or manifested before. How does that sound? Are you ready for that? Fellowship of Spirit is ready for it. Again, think to yourself as I state this: I am willing, I am able, I am available to more good than I've ever manifested before. Now, some of you may have thoughts of contrary to that truth that says, I'm not sure about that, because there is a fear of really, really opening up to receive and having all that we deserve. So what I want you to do is wrap your awareness around that belief as we take this journey forward and explore this adventure. This adventure that you are open to more good than you've ever imagined or ever experienced in any time in your life up until now. One way to help you with that is the life visioning process. So what is this process? First of all, it is not a process to get something from out there. We got too much of that going on in the world, acquiring things in the world. It's about tapping into the undiscovered, the untapped resources of our soul that's there from God's kingdom, waiting for us to claim it. And allowing these gifts that we have and that we receive to be cultivated, to be known, first of all, that we have them, and then to be cultivated to help them grow within us and to be ultimately expressed in our world. It is about the evolution of who and what we are as individuals. By participating in this life visioning process, you are participating in a way of life that will allow you to tap into inner resources of your own being and to release powerful life energy. Regardless of your life condition right at this moment, your present circumstances, regardless of your past, regardless of what's been said about you, or even regardless of what your own opinion is about yourself, this spiritual technique will allow you to free you from all limiting points of view. Dr. Michael Beckwith became acquainted with visioning and meditation and formulated a process with it, a process that can be used in a consistent manner to resolve all situations and to inaugurate new growth projects in his church and in his life. He said this: the vision process is a process of inner transformation where we are catching the vision that's held in and already existing in the mind of God. It's already there, waiting for us. So it can manifest on earth because it's already in the mind of God. Wow, how wonderful it is to know that truth, that it's already there for us. Oftentimes, when people speak of vision or visioning, they think that something's going to happen, whereas they'll get more of something outside there, or they're trying to make it happen outside. That's actually called visualization, where you picture the outcome of something. Visioning is about making something welcome to you that's already coming from God. It's about being able to allow that which is already happening in the mind of God to happen through us, since we are one with God. And as I've said before, if you could picture yourself being in the mind of God, what would you experience? More good than you could ever imagine. So we want to hear, we want to capture what's in the mind of God by hearing, by listening, by seeing in a whole different way. And then once we receive all of that, to be able to articulate it in our world. This divine idea that is more wonderful than we can in our own mind imagine what it is. It's beyond our imagination. So I want to go over the steps and show you then afterwards an example for our church or our center. We begin the visioning process with the understanding that we are surrounded by a universal presence that we call unconditional love. We have to start off with that to understand that's who we are. And we feel it within our body, and then we feel it expand as we're doing the process to the people around us, to this building, to the whole community, that all there is unconditional love. We move into this inner state inside where we feel, sense, and accept that we are in the midst of something wonderful. This thing that we call unconditional love. And we begin, because the universe says, ask and you shall receive. So we begin with a question that says, what is God's idea of fellowship? Or what is God's idea of my life? Or whatever it is that you're working on at that time. And as I said, most of us know that statement, when you ask, you shall receive. When you knock, it shall be opened. When you seek, it shall be found. And it's all starting to flow when we do that process. And these particular laws that I just stated have nothing to do with changing the universe or changing God. That's not what we're here for. We're here to change ourselves, to open ourselves up to what's already there. But they make us more receptive by asking those questions. What is God's idea of fellowship of spirit? We become more receptive to the truth that's already there. It's already happening, beloveds. We are just needing to listen and to take it in. So when we ask that question, what is God's idea of fellowship or God's idea of my life? We become a candidate for insight, for the revelation, for knowledge from source that's already been planted within us. We're asking for more, and now we're opening up to receive. We are available. That's what we need to do, is be available to receive. Even when we use that statement, let go, let God, we have to be available to receive it, don't we? We begin to feel inside ourselves. We begin to sense something going on. We begin to hear and really capture that still small voice from God and allow it to become stronger within our mind and our heart. And then we move to the second question. What is it that I must become to allow this vision that I just saw from God? What is it that I need to become in order to manifest that which I seek? Where is it that I must grow to allow this to come? And here we have to get into a radical honesty with ourselves. We have to open ourselves up to literally hearing deeper and sensing where we personally need to grow, to develop, to unfold, to receive this great gift from God. We need to open up to where we need to change in order that what we just heard, what we just saw within our mind will manifest for us. And here's where the inner transformation takes place, because it's all about us waking up more to what's already there. What is it that I must know? Ask that question for yourself. What is it that I must know? Where must I go? What must I become? Just let me know, God, so I can open up to your great gifts. And we move from this field of willingness into a field of gratitude and thankfulness that it is so. What a great thing to feel, gratitude and thankfulness. So the other two questions we ask, because there's 4 of them, after we said, what is God's idea for it? What must I become? Then we have to ask, what must I release? What needs to be let go of so I can open up and receive this more? And lastly, what talents and gifts do I already have that I need to see that's here from God to help me receive this? And then we begin to see how we can be a conduit for transformation. A conduit, just feel that transformation flowing through your body. What ensures is a pattern of what that vision really is, even for a group, not just for an individual. And because of it, churches have been started and growing with this process. Groups or projects within churches have come alive via this process, even in our own center. And individuals have become acquainted with their life's work through this process. Doesn't that all sound powerful? I have facilitated visioning a few times since I started here, and fellowship has grown so much over the years because of this process. It helped manifest our wonderful addition that we have, because that came from visioning. We had the vision of how this whole block will change. I haven't forgotten about that, but we had a huge vision that came to me about it. And it has helped our youth group and our music department grow. And so we end by being very grateful, by saying yes, first of all, to all that we received. And then we're grateful for it. We feel that growing, and we feel the thankfulness growing within it. So, beloveds, we did a visioning last year. And normally what I've done in the past is write it out on flip chart paper and show it to you to say this is what we did. But Kate last time said I'd like to put it into a PowerPoint, which sounded wonderful. So she did that. Christine helped her out for it, which we're going to show you here a little bit later in the service. So another point to look at with the visioning is there is no right or wrong way. Because God, there is no right or wrong way. There is only the one. To experience the results of the visioning. So do not judge what is given. This is what I had to tell the people who are doing it. Just listen. Don't judge what you, oh, this doesn't make sense. Too bad. Just say it anyway. Don't judge what is given to you during visioning. Keep that in mind today for yourself. Now for the second part of this talk. A little bit more personal. So I ask you, beloveds, do you remember how we first came together? Do you remember the series of events that caused our divine union and initiated our journey into mystery of love? And as I asked earlier, how often, how long have we journeyed as the one heart? Days, weeks, years, lifetimes? For some in our Fellowship of Spirit family, it's been 7 years, because that's how long we have been connected here since I became minister, stewarding the Fellowship of Love experience. And during this time, we have experienced a lot of soul offerings through the talks, through the meditations, through the music, through the fellowship that we feel here. It's all grown and it's bloomed out of our initial seeding of our soul tribe. And there are others of you who have been here much longer than that. So again, what brought us together? Perhaps it was a state of gratitude, blooming humans, those of us growing more, heart fire gatherings, love with a grateful heart, our soul blooming. Maybe it was a soul-filling prophecy that just happened and said, you have to be here with one another, a soul calling, or even something even deeper. In any event, that we're here now tells us of a choice in time. Every one of you made a choice when you said, yes, I'm coming to this center. I'm saying yes to us. I'm saying yes to union, to the oneness that we feel here. I say yes to this great coming together of our soul kindred and our soul kind. I state that we all came together to experiment with love and gratitude and oneness, to open up our hearts to love, truth, beauty, to remember our soul song because we are souls here by divine guidance. And we came here to add our piece to the great harmony of life and creation. Now, I suspect that most of us are old soul friends. We knew each other long before we met during this time. We came here together as a group. And each of us are here together now because we made a series of choices that brought us to this particular moment in time. All of us. Each choice that we made was a step that became a pathway that has led us to this now oneness that we're experiencing. And now, beloveds, we are coming to this end of this particular experiment. We're almost complete with this phase of our soul mission. We've almost completed a 7-year cycle, which is a magical, mystical number. We could take stock of the best of what's left from the years we've had of co-creating to dream forward, a pathway for our soul to follow, to migrate out of the old and build a foundation for the new. For us, for our children, for our ancestors yet to come. Because this gathering began as an experiment, whether you knew it or not, being part of it. There's always been this open-ended intent of our time together that unveiled itself as time flowed on over all these days and weeks and months and years. We are now preparing to make an even deeper migration into growth. And I invite you to join us for the next phase of our creation. As you feel inspired to build the new within us, of course, and it will become about because of the theme that God, Source, and Spirit chose for us this past year. So I know you've probably forgotten what that is, but to remind you, I went back And I want to share some notes from the first talk that I gave this year about this. And it's so amazing how it's tied into what I'm telling you now. Quote, this was the first talk. Hopefully, you have found value in our presence and wish to support our ongoing ability to serve you and the global community. Fellowship of Spirit is far from merely being a nice spiritual center with typical teachers and teachings. Instead, we're here to channel the presence of God as directly and purely as possible, and yet in a form that is more about love and inspiration and less about dogma and politics. We teach the attendees here to make God their priority in their lives, and therefore to have a highly inspired and collaborative leadership. We only have the best guest speakers, healers, workshop facilitators who are changing the lives of all of you and the people that attend and those you connect with. We are fulfilling our goal of manifesting the love and the light of God in our world and our community. So essentially what that means, instead of just getting by with Sunday services and most occasional weddings, as what's done in most churches, we chose to be a spiritual center that anchors the Spirit of God into this world, thus raising our consciousness from everyone in every way possible. This past year, this is still part of the talk, this past year we began to own our role in God's greater plan to a new level, wherein we recognize fellowship as a beacon of light in this world, and we play such a huge part in holding this light in the city of Farmington and in New Mexico. I share this point with you not to brag, but to accept our responsibility to make a difference in this town and thus throughout this planet. You are all a part and need to take in and be open to our growth openly and collectively, and to join with the goals that we have to conquer, and we'll talk about later. As a result, the theme for this year that God gave me is living new thought through demonstration. This whole year has been about you learning more about the principles and the laws of new thought so that you can demonstrate in your life what it is that God wants for you, as I said in the beginning. So I ask you to join together for our growth and the growth this year and manifesting this theme. End of talk. So as I said, we did join together this year, whether you're aware of what happened or not, and I will be sharing more about the shifts that happened and the gifts that were received, the intent growing forward and exploring with you, to share how experimenting with the Fellowship of Spirit has altered reality on a personal, community, global, and cosmic scale. Wow. Whether we know it or not, we have affected all of that. I invite you to add to the insight, reflections, wisdom, and experiences that we've had as we curate the best of what's been happening for us this year in order to build a foundation for more to grow. If you've appreciated our journey so far, I ask you for more, to join us in pioneering the new. So please attend these services. Work with the laws that I've been sharing with you, I've spoken about, and will continue to talk about. As you feel inspired, we welcome you to join us in any way possible, financially, being on the board, coming to the events that we provide for you, movie night, whatever it is, game night, and others, and overall supporting our vision into the community, the state, and the world. So I welcome your support and thank you in advance, each and every one of you. And I, beloveds, I say deeply thank you for everything. Thank you for choosing to walk with us, to dream, to love, and to grow with us for this time. May you remember that your life is sacred. It is wonderful. It is blessed. May you feel the fire of love in your heart and the breath of gratitude flow to you and through you and from you and for you to one another. May you walk in beauty and let your soul song rise and ripple, a harmonious blessing upon everyone here. May you know that you are loved and loved. And I thank you for being our heart. In love and gratitude, this is from me as your minister, Reverend George Harris. Namaste.